Hello there, Steve here in Sydney on the Laynosis website truebluehealer.com. I'm going to talk to you here a bit more about a growing social menace that's almost reduced the internet to uselessness, mixed with over-commercialization, professional trolling and head-kicking of Mr. and Mrs. Average has rendered the internet virtually useless. It's now being used as a control mechanism very much on your mind state. And I'll just point out a couple of things to you before I connect you to this video, where the narrator does a very good job of explaining and showing you actual film clips where people in government departments are being paid daily to do trolling on the internet in social media. In one case in this following video, it's actually an FBI employee. So obviously he's supervised and managed, and he's not doing it for free. He's doing it on, government paid time. So I'll just tell you a couple more things before I take you to this video. The internet was invented by backyard people working literally out of garages and things like that, connecting up servers themselves and all that sort of stuff. But one day it grew, and so much that business wanted to own it, and they've basically taken it over. And now people on the internet are all working unpaid for large corporate interests to put their advertising around the work that you produce with your home keyboard. So basically you're all working for free. It's not all bad, because you do get something in return, okay? You notice when YouTube started, which is now owned by Google, that when it started, people were uploading television documentaries. The timing was reduced to 15 or 10 minutes per video clip to make it very difficult and awkward to watch entire television programs and movies. But by the time it matured, lawyers began to sniff profit in putting advertising and stuff around your work that you're producing. So then it began to be allowed, you see, you could do these things with permissions as long as they could put advertising around your video that you were uploading with your precious home activities, okay, your own time. The corporate interests took over, and very quickly it became, YouTube, for example, was turned into a copyright enforcement thing, where you get told within just a few hours that their web bots are watching you, and if you dare to upload somebody else's music or somebody else's video, we'll be onto you within 12 hours. And there's some very serious consequences can fall upon you if we detect 1 minute of somebody else's music, you see. So there's much argument about the fair use rules of America and all that sort of stuff, and whether they actually work in foreign countries and that sort of thing. So the internet has become very much an enforcement method, controlling what content you can talk about, discuss and present to show your friends. Now, so far so good. So far, it's not all bad. There's some good involved in that, and the upgrading of YouTube to high resolution video and 16:9 format was an improvement, and the improvement in sound quality I have noticed and benefited from myself with my own 400 videos. So what's the technical wonders that can be done with the internet, but when large corporations get involved, are admirable. But they're actually designed to make more money for the corporate cash registers while you work for free. Even that is not so bad. There's benefits to that, because you can present your ideas, your concepts, whatever you want to share, in very high quality, and it's quite laudable. So now we've talked about the things that are obvious, things you can see, things that can be done. But some things that can be done are not being done, and they are very, very conspicuous by their absence. And I'm going to talk now about the professional trollism that goes on, the head kicking by people called, for want of a better phrase, pseudo-skeptics. They basically seem to live in septic tanks, and they only open the lid to throw poo at passers-by. And that's what pseudo-skeptics really are. they can't write a sentence without referring to excrement in it. Their toilet language is very noteworthy. They hang around certain types of videos and subjects such as vaccines, that sort of thing, telepathy, Christianity, that sort of thing. But there's a lot of professional trolls too, and the next video is going to show you in some detail the seriousness by which big corporations like Monsanto are attacking their social enemies, of which there are many organised groups. They're attacking their social enemies online with head-kicking pseudo-skeptics, you see, and it's highly organised and nicely explained to you in the coming video. Now, before you get to that video, can I just point something out to you? That the technical wizardry of the internet and YouTube and what they can do is admirable, but what they're not doing is a very dark message, and that is, it would be so easy in your account, your YouTube account, to have an option where rude words can't be typed under your videos. A rude word detector is so easy to make. You could just say, define the words, I don't want any words referring to excrement, blah 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 blah, all the standard obscenities. I just don't want them to be able to be written under my videos, so that I can't have these skeptic tank poo throwers forever throwing excrement at my videos, which are highly appreciated by clever people. Okay, so now why hasn't YouTube done that? Why hasn't Google, that now owns YouTube, intervened to stop this terrible unpleasantness, this attack on the average person? The answer is they want it to continue because it's all part of their social manipulation, ruling the working class, the poor people, the peasantry, by cattle prodding people continually with verbal violence, abrasiveness from these professional poo throwers called skeptics. It would be so easy to prevent them ever making an entry into my videos if such a little visual basic thing existed in my account. Another thing will be just to stop sock accounts working. A sock account is something that's set up within 24 hours. It's got no content and no name and no clues at all as to the identity of its author or his preferences and that sort of thing. It'd be very easy to say, I don't want accounts talking to me less than 6 months old. Just another option, and we could greatly purify the internet and make it a far more pleasant experience. But Google and YouTube have decided you're going to suffer the slings and arrows of these poo throwers. Okay, they want you to be head kicked because they haven't done anything about it. I mean, it's a daily occurrence, and it's kind of obvious that they are in league with the people providing the septic tank poo throwers. You can see that. And it's all about social control, and that's what social media always has been. Google is a military project, so is Yahoo, always was. YouTube is now owned and operated by Google. So it's to make you more governable, you see. And you find skeptics attack videos about global warming. They always attack the people under the videos, not the actual subject itself. So you get Monsanto's got a hell of a fight on its hands because Europe's decided to go against GMO foods, and America wants to force it, well, Monsanto should I say, Monsanto wants to force GMO down everyone's throat in the world. But I'd like to point out to you, in case you haven't thought about it, that nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I want genetically modified food for breakfast. Nobody ever says that. So they've got to use some kind of emotional force at least to try and get you to eat it. Okay? So there's a lot of these things being deliberately done, and it's really showing the corporate ownership of YouTube and Google, that it's really aided and abetted by the military. And you can do, did you know, a 2-year course in how to be a troll, a really good troll. In America there's a university course for it, and the top graduates of the class end up working for the CIA. Are you surprised? Are you surprised about that at all? Have I told you enough? I only wish this video would be watched by someone responsible in YouTube and say, hey, that's a good idea. Let's put an obscenity word detector and just block them automatically, and block sock accounts. Why should you be allowed to write this anonymous hate mail to anyone that you randomly select? It's absolutely outrageous. It's poison pen letter writing facilitated by YouTube and its Google owners. In normal off-net society, it's illegal and wrong, and you can be convicted in jail for writing poison pen letters, threatening letters to people and making threatening phone calls. But the net actually facilitates it, okay? So, I think I've bent your ear long enough, and I'll hand you over to this wonderful video describing some of the details of trollism and how highly organised and corporately organised it is. The way they all work in lockstep, and many of these lockstep similarities are pointed out to you. I commend this little video to you.